Да. All right. Hello. Hello, my astrology friends. Can you see me?
Hello, everybody.
I'm not sure it's showing. Hello, hello.
I don't think you have video.
No? Okay, just sorry, just bear with me. I'm doing it from my phone for the first time. Okay. All right. You see me now?
At least on my side, no. Oh, now I see you. Okay.
All right. Sorry, guys. I'm at my parents' place, so I had to do it over the phone. But we're here today with Trifon Nikolov, Sidereal Astrologer, and he will talk to us about the month of February. Hello, Trifon.
Hello, everybody. Hello. The new month is coming, looming on the horizon. I think there is such expression. So tomorrow, the first day of February, and we will comment today about the many astrological events that are happening in the heavens and what they mean. Do
you have a promotion for us this month, Trifon? Trifon every month has a offer for the AstroladaOfficial viewers. I think this month is for the next 15 days, 60 minutes reading with him is discounted 40% down to $150. Yes?
Yes. $100 less than the usual price.
Yes, it's very great discount. So I'll put a link below for anyone who is interested.
Okay, everybody. So, today I had a very interesting email, by the way. I'm a little bit proud. So, so we have an expression in Bulgaria that, the gypsy that was telling good things about you died.
So you have to do it yourself.
So you have to, yeah.
That's very racist. Right? Very racist. Joke.
Yeah, but basically the email is that somebody came a couple of months ago to me to find his birth time because he was orphan. He did not know his birth time at all, and I made my analysis. And later, the person, it's a woman, met with its biological parents, and astonished to understand that the time of birth that his parents taught her is the same that I arrived at in the analysis.
That's usually very hard to do. Every astrology tells you a different time of birth.
This is actually the most difficult thing probably in astrology. So it's a big thing, but I guess topic. I just wanted to share this email came this morning. So,
hey, that's something amazing.
Yeah, and another person who is like that is writing, saying I heard about that, and I'm coming for you to find my time. So anyway, just mentioning what astrology is capable of, because using the turning of the heavenly sphere and the ancient methods of predictions and converting of the heavenly movement to years and aspects, etc. This holds a lot of meanings that experienced astrologer can turn into finding your true time and also, of course, finding the periods of your life and their meanings. So anyway, now let's proceed to February. So there is something important that happens literally as we speak. So I propose to you the title of today's video to be Invisible Saturn, Exalted Mars. And this is through reason because today starts the so-called heliacal phase of Saturn, a very important thing according to the ancient authors. Now we count 7 days until Saturn becomes invisible. And those 7 days, the ancients are saying, are ruled by Saturn. And also the next 7 days after his disappearance. So we have now 14 days of stronger Saturnian influence. How to translate this? The first 7 days are mostly positive so far. They're mostly positive. They will give us, or to many people, they will give some important results from long sustained efforts.
So something you've been doing for a while, you can wrap it up, we'll see the results of it.
Yes, and I remember back in time, a couple of times I associated this also because of observation with justice being given to really bad guys, like mass murderers, generals who committed genocide, and etc. So, and now we will see again the same thing: justice being given to people who committed atrocities and murders, and in general, justice being given to people who have committed crimes. So this will be on a wide scale. You can see it in different events in the world now in the next 7 days. Of course, Saturn invisible also means that people who are considered to be part of the security of society, base of society, some of those important people are destined to leave this world, and in this way Saturn gives them a honor, because to live in this moment, it's a kind of recognition also, being related to the principle of Saturn in this way. It's the highest esteem as well. So, but also it means that some of the really bad guys that Saturn also can signify are also destined of the same fate. Other meanings of Saturn becoming invisible, as Saturn represents security and justice. After the combination of these processes of somehow building security and also giving justice, finishing important developments about those things. And however, when Saturn disappears, it will mean that from this point on, and this will be for how long? Let's count. 2 months. 2 months Saturn will be invisible. So in this period, there will be less justice and less security, of course. And there will be crossing of borders not being so effective. And the border thing that is very popular now in Texas, it's actually the setting of Saturn, I believe, it's a topic that gives some the upper hand to this part of the government in USA that desires the border to be still not so secure.
Oh, so you don't think they'll be able to secure the borders because Saturn is disappearing and Saturn is borders?
I think it will still be insecure then, yes. Maybe if they have something to achieve, it's in the next 7 days. After that, goes down. Probably because Saturn becomes invisible. I think it's a significator, yes. But this time, let's say also something else. Saturn invisible this time is not so bad as in other positions of Saturn. This is because Saturn is in his own sign. So we do not expect like big crisis, big insecurity, big time lack of justice. Because Saturn in a way is protected by his position. He's in his own sign in Aquarius. And yeah, according to the ancients, this protects him even in the invisibility. This is a good news for people who are ruled by Saturn, like you, Lada. Because usually, this is a usual process when Saturn is invisible. Each year, this happens when Saturn goes close to the sun, closer to the sun, fades into the light of the sun. So this is actually the disappearance. And This time, even though this period of invisibility is associated with lack of security and more problems, weakness of different kinds, depends what Saturn rules in your chart. It will be reflected in different ways in everybody's horoscopes and lives. People, animals, countries, no matter. But people who are having rising Capricorn and Aquarius in sidereal signs, or Aquarius and Pisces in Western astrology used tropical signs, this time they still will meet with some insecurity, but not so big time, as maybe compared to the years when this happened in like a couple of years ago.
So it happens though every year that Saturn will disappear. So those signs, Aquarius, Capricorn, they tend to be familiar to this process, and it's not every year at the same time. So
yes, definitely everybody are familiar with this. So people who I just mentioned with those ascendants, they will go to a little bit less effective time of transition until the the very aggressive and troublesome rising of Saturn in April, which we'll be talking about that later.
They'll come back with a bang.
Yes. So, well, already in the video about the year 2024, I have mentioned things about that time. So, so Saturn now is disappearing. Today, we will see the first effects. Today, we will look at the news. We'll see events related to it. I can say even that the border issues that already is happening is part of this disappearance and weakening of Saturn. The problem of the borders of security becomes like more painful when Saturn weakens, and of course triggers reaction. Saturn, by the way, also represents the lower classes of people, and also people with darker color of the skin, brown, especially black, and but in general, also all those people who are poor, who are helpless, who in general are economically weak, etc. So, and when Saturn becomes weaker, it means a little bit more problematic time for them for the next 2 months. But again, as Saturn is protected in his current position, this is not actually so strong, so bad. After all. And Saturn is associated in general with also certain countries. Looking at the ancient astrologers' opinion and also at some current modern astrological country charts, I can say that it's a little bit more challenging time for the Balkans. First, India. Balkans, with the exception of Greece, by the way, as Greece is ruled by Mercury, not Saturn. And also, I can say Mexico, Brazil is much related. So those countries will experience have also more insecurity for a time, 2 months. And this is the natural process that happens each year. So nothing to fear maybe so much. So this is about Saturn. Of course, everybody will feel it, depends on the ascendant and so on. But if anyone wishes to know more about that, he's free to have a reading. Yeah. So in short, I think this is the most important thing for the month. Starts now, and Saturn literally disappears on the 6th of February. So on the 6th of February, in a way, is the most problematic day in the month. On this day, I do not recommend you to do important things, especially about business or anything that your security depends on. Yeah, have this in mind. So let's also take a look at what else is happening. As the name of the video implies, other news are that Mars will get exalted. And this is interesting because Mars will go into the sign of his exaltation on the same very day when Saturn disappears. So in a way I can say Saturn weakens and Mars strengthens. What this means, insecurity and fear will prevail a little bit more, aggression, anger and action will become stronger. But Mars also has good meanings. As a planet of action, it represents the opportunity to fight for what you want to achieve. And this will be in a month when the borders, the obstructions are not so strong. So this is actually a good time for the people who are ruled and related to Mars. Like people related to business, also, of course, all the other professions related to Mars, like energy sector and general military security forces, let's say military. So this is important. So people who have rising signs, Aries and Scorpio in sidereal signs, but in Western astrology, they will be Taurus and Sagittarius, actually, 90%. They will have this additional energy and boost from Mars, and they will be more successful, actually, throughout February.
Even though Mars is invisible?
Even though Mars is invisible, because as the ancients are saying, he is protected when he is in strong sign. In the sign of his exaltation, he will be protected from the invisibility, which is not so now, but on the 6th February onward, it will be, and throughout the month of February and part of March. It's like this. So, of course, this will probably mean that for instance, those events that are happening, the security of ocean trade paths. Saturn represents, by the way, ships as well, and ocean trade is much related. Mars will become stronger, so we can actually expect escalation of those type of problems, especially for the time of the exaltation of Mars. Mars will reach his point of exaltation towards the end of the month, beginning of March, when those processes will become the strongest. Also, as you can see, Mars has good meanings. Wherever he is transiting in your chart, he's now will be more capable of doing also good, not only bad. And especially if he is a lord of a fortunate house in anyone's chart. This can be, for instance, true for people who are, let's say, having Sagittarius rising in sidereal, but Capricorn in tropical Western astrology signs. This is one example, but there are more. And so in this way, we can name it the month of Saturn at Mars in many ways. This, of course, in general scale of events, is not so easy. Saturn and Mars are actually related to the biggest challenges that the world can have, that people can have. So in a way, we will be dealing with our deepest fears and our greatest strengths. I think it's a good way to say it.
In a sense, though, both malefics, Saturn and Mars, are invisible this month, but they're in good dignity. They're in great dignity. So it sounds better than, or is it not good when the malefics are invisible, or is it good?
Again, it is bad when they are invisible, but if they are in their own signs or exaltation signs, they are somehow protected from it, and they will not give so adverse effect as otherwise when this happens. So it's a kind of balanced, I can say, then, the situation. Yeah. In this way, the month will be able to produce also somehow more balance in the problematic points. Yeah, so I guess this is the most important about Mars. There are also, however, specific things happening in the month. By the way, Mercury will join the Saturnian energy on the 2nd of February. As right now, Mercury is with Mars in conjunction in Sagittarius for the last days, giving crazy events, many people related to Mars and Mercury. However, he enters 2nd of February, he enters Capricorn. As a planet of trade, maybe this is still not good news for trading, but it's good for business, I think. Mercury in Capricorn is good for business, good for work development. So on the other side, of course, it will make people who are related to Mercury more serious, more focused on necessities and resolving things that cannot wait. Especially for Gemini rising in Sidereal is more challenging as Mercury goes into the 8th house of crisis and transformation for the time of February. This is Sidereal Gemini, and however, in tropical signs, it's Cancer. However, for Virgo rising Sidereal, it's a good position. So they will be reaping the good effects mostly. Virgo Sidereal is Libra in tropical signs. So basically, I can say that even Virgo rising will have fun, as Mercury will be in his 5th house, the ruler of the ascendant of his life. So they will enjoy actually whatever happens around them with others. They will enjoy this month much more than all the rest of the signs, even with Capricorn. So let's see what else. Many things are happening. 6th of February, which is a little bit critical date, as you can see. Mars getting exalted can mean like intensification of aggression, right? Aggression at wars, military actions, a little bit stronger at least. On the same day, Mercury, on the 6th of February, Mercury, for example, joins a military star in the house. So this is definitely looking more and more military day. And also the Sun will be in an aspect with the South Node. So which can give, those two moments can give some advantage to forces that are not so official for this moment. But in the end, you know, Saturn will rise in April. So then 7th of February represents a moment when Venus joins a fixed star that is good financial. So it's interesting. Even in all those changes, people who are ruled by Venus, especially, will find potentially that 7th of February for many of them is a good time, including financial. Venus people are those who have rising sign Taurus and Libra in Sidereal, but Gemini and Scorpio in Western astrology. This is for them. And on the same day, a spiritual star is disappearing from the sky, which is again concerning because it shows additional lack of compassion in general for the world. There is also the period between 8th and 10th of February holds the invisible moon, especially difficult in this moment because she will be debilitated in Capricorn. So especially more problematic time for anyone who has strong relation to the moon. In general, of course, these are women, especially oldest women, and anyone who is related to professions like that take care of others. Emotionally, those days are more suited for withdrawal, for seclusion, and rest. Do not start new things. Only if you want to finish something, you can use this time. I think your microphone is muted, Lada. I cannot hear you. You have to unmute it.
I was asking my dad for water. So that's
okay. Okay. All right. So, yeah, talking about the debilitated moon. So, 8th to 10th of February, better to rest. Better to rest. That time. Everybody will feel a little bit more tired. Some people a lot more. For example, those who have, let's see, the sign Cancer in their 6th house. So those will be people with Aquarius rising in Sidereal, but Pisces in Western astrology. Those people can experience greater problems about their jobs and health in this specific moment, 8th to 10th of February. So watch out. Maybe it's good to be, somewhere else. So, and then many other things are happening. For example, on the 10th of February, when this process of the difficult moon is finishing, Mercury makes a square to Jupiter, for example, this time, which is an excellent time to find the truth for whatever topic, for starting any new learning. It's a great time, actually. People who are needing who are in need to make those things, they can use it. They can use it. It's still a little complex, but it's good. Even if it's a square. Even the square, yeah. Well, the square can mean you go through some challenging experiences in order to find the truth, or you meet like moral dilemmas, whether you're ruled by Jupiter or Mercury. Like Jupiter people will feel this a little more. Sagittarius rising and Pisces rising in Sidereal, but Capricorn and Aries in Western astrology. So, but for everybody, this will be a moment of more like revelation and potentially some good news, some good developments. This is so because Jupiter is actually the planet of progress, of expansion, but most of all the planet of truthfulness. And even if he gives you difficult truths, it's still good for you. It is still good for you because it makes you to be on the right path. So that's why it's beneficial. It's much more difficult if you have other aspects, like in the previous days, Mercury and Mars, which can bring you like shocking news or lies. Oh. But this was in the last few days. Already finishes in 2 days. So then on the 2 days later, on the 12th of February, Venus will join the Saturnian energy. She goes into Capricorn. Now, Capricorn Venus is good for searching for meaning in love or having professional success, especially for those people ruled by Venus. Again, Libra and Taurus rising, Sidereal, Scorpio, and Gemini in Western astrology. But also Venus enters Saturnian signs in this way, and she will be there a long time. In general, about love, this is a period of testing for true validity, for meaning, but also for those people who are prone to it, it will mean also going deeper into the sensual world. These are actually very sexual positions of Venus, according to the ancients, especially in the first 15 days. This is to say, This time, the Saint Valentine Day will be more interesting than usual, I guess. So between 12th and February and literally to the end of the month, this meaning of Venus is there.
Venus will be in the sign of Pan, the horn god, the horn goat.
Yes, there are horns, so people who speak English know this meaning.
I've seen many girls that porn stars or escorts with Venus in such a position or something important there. I'm not
this
saying
is an ancient astrology.
I'm not saying, but there is maybe something with this horn goat there and Venus connection.
It's the topic related to Saturn. Saturn represents the basics of nature, primeval instincts as well. And if there are some people who does not have like proper like moral understanding and higher knowledge, then if they have Venus in this position, some of them, especially when there is also an aspect of Saturn to Venus, many of them will be prone to be actually using their sexuality in very questionable ways. So, and this will be somehow enhanced, but let's not forget that Venus in Capricorn is capable also of much higher meanings. Depends on your natal chart always. This time, Jupiter is providing a square to Venus, and it will also give the moral conduct and lessons that are needed. This will be happening, especially when Venus and Jupiter go into a square. So, but there is a lot that is going on. So the square of Venus with Jupiter is 25th of February. This is the moral lesson about love happened that time. Also, it's a lesson about how much you give attention to desires and how much you can lose because of this if you do not follow the right principles in life, like ethics, for example. So this will be a complex day, 25th of February. And before that, Venus will also reach Mars. Right before that, 3 days, 22nd of February, is the conjunction of Venus and Mars, which is very hot, of course, in a way. This can be a cause for many relationships to start or to have like short experiences. But also it's a kind of scandalous position, Venus and Mars.
And well, it's again in the horns of the goats, right there. In early degrees Aquarius, tropical, but that's the goat.
So Venus there, however, can satisfy Mars in a way that it can make him more calm, which can mean for some moment aggression will be calmed down in the world. So this is the power of the goddess of love and balance. So Mars will get a little bit weakened in this moment when there is the conjunction. And also people who are ruled by Mars will have more pleasant experiences, good times, so they will not be thinking about doing harm so much, right? So it's the same thing, but on personal level. So in this way, it's also beneficial. But people who are ruled by Venus, they can meet like artists, for example, and all the professions related to Venus, including the most ancient one. And even diplomats, I guess. In this moment, they can face more difficulties. However, the exaltation of Mars provides opportunity for achievement even for them in this moment. So after all, this conjunction also has potential for good things to result from it. And so this is about Venus. So as you can see, Venus becomes very interesting actually throughout the month. So let's see also other things.
Smile on your face. I love it. You have a devilish smile on your face talking about the Venus.
Yeah, Venus in Capricorn. You know, there is. Oh, now I remember when you mentioned the the ancient enemy, so to say. When you mentioned it, I remember this old code symbol. You know, a goat head inside of a pentagram. And pentagram is a symbol of the cycle of Venus. And the goat head represents Capricorn constellation. And then we have this symbol literally written in the skies for February. So,
sounds like an orgy time type of thing. Almost.
Whoever he understands it. So
temptations, yeah. Temptations.
Temptations, yes. So people, yes, beware. It's a little bit more tough in this sense throughout the month. And of course, depends whatever one's desire. So there is something important, I think, here that I saw. On the 13th of February, Mars will make conjunction with Pluto. And this happens from time to time, like 2 years.
13. The 13th, 1-3, yeah?
Yes, 13th. One day before Saint Valentine, the previous day. So maybe men, of course, men are symbolized by Mars, young men. Maybe they will be a little bit more motivated for the 14th of for the celebration of love, but their intentions can be questionable, okay? So women, beware.
Plutonian.
But this can make them also more like able to achieve whatever they desire, because Pluto is also power. However, I wanted to mention this aspect because of something else. It happens in such a degree that is actually important in mundane astrology in the current times. This is the same degree of the current cycle of Jupiter and Saturn, where they met the 6th degree of Capricorn, 5 degrees and some minutes in the sidereal sign, Capricorn. So this conjunction of Mars and Pluto there is actually something really questionable that can unlock aggression and dangers in the world. So watch out. This is more dangerous than potentially for terrorist attacks, for example. Yeah, but also for people who are ruled by Mars, Scorpio rising, Aries rising in sidereal, and Sagittarius and Taurus in Western astrology, those people will be potentially meeting their worst fears, but also have the greatest potential for any achievement in this very moment. So very important time.
Best of the worst, yeah.
Very important time for action and bringing much greater motivation. People for politics, people who are related politicians, well, let's just say it will be very challenging this moment. So this is also there. There is one of the good days in the month is 15th of February. If people want to do something important that they have to do in February, something new. The Moon conjunction Jupiter in Aries on the 15th is actually offering a good opportunity for any new start. Of course, better to have a consultation about this, but if you cannot afford it, you can use this time, right? So then on the 16th of February, Mars joins the star of war. And this will be the time of the great warriors in the world. Of course, it can mean that there are greater military challenges happening, greater battles. But in this time, Mars will show who is who. And people who are having the greater qualities will show them that time. So later, Venus also joins this star 2 days later, and she will offer some to offer some harmonization, some balance for the same military persons. On the 23rd of February, also there is something that can be important for people. The sun will join, it will go through this place on the ecliptic, the path of the sun, where is falling the ray of a very prominent and important spiritual star. Considered, to give you a hint, by the ancient Egyptians to be representing the mother of the universe. And so in this moment, both politicians and ordinary people, and especially people who are ruled by the sun. This is Leo rising in Sidereal, but usually Virgo in Western astrology, like Donald Trump, for example. Such people can meet with greater harmony and balance in their life, more love, more understanding. And it's a good day for spiritual practice, and even to begin a new type of spiritual practice as well. At least it will give you more success compared to many other times. Then on the next day, 24th, there will be the full moon in Leo. If you don't believe it will be in Leo, because Western astrology astrologers will tell you that it's actually Virgo, go out, look at the sky, use your phone applications, and you'll see how actually the moon is shown to be moving on the background of the stars of Leo.
Western signs are not based on the constellations, though. They have the same names, but they're based on solstices and equinoxes. While sidereal are based on constellations, but they carry the same name.
Yeah. So 10-degree Leo. However, I remember that in some of the ancient texts, this degree is associated with a star that brings, well, let's just say, destruction. So the full moon there actually is a little worrying, because it shows that for the next 2 weeks, it can unlock greater destructive processes for the world. Let's hope this will not happen, but it's potentially there. Otherwise, Leo, of course, is also a positive sign in many ways. Like about love, about fun, have. So this will be good for certain type of people. I think this is actually a very good position. Let me uncover some secrets of safe. People who have sidereal Cancer rising, but Leo rising in Western astrology, they will be especially more successful financially in this moment. So whoever, of course, depends on the basis of your horoscope, what it promises financially, but somehow, based on your potential, you get more money in that time, and potentially better results from the material world in general. So this is there. Then on the 26th of February, we have Mars in square to Jupiter. Now, this is a time when people ruled by Mars get additional strength and success, but also big lessons about morality and honesty. I can say this is a position that is not good for the honest people, for the kind, good people, because they can be harmed in this moment. People who are ruled by Jupiter should be more careful. Sagittarius rising and Pisces rising in Sidereal, but Capricorn and Aries in Western astrology signs. In this moment, greater dangers of conflicts and even things like accidents and injuries potentially can happen. Also, Jupiter with Mars is the aspect of explosions and escalation of military actions this way. And finally, there is something very unusual happening in the end of the month. 28th of February, we'll see a triple conjunction. three planets will join in 1 degree. These are the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury. It's a very complex combination. In general, this combination is described by the ancients as bringing ruin and danger of deception in many ways. So it's not the best. Combination. There is only one positive description when this combination is in the 3rd house. So basically, wherever you are, if you want to start something new on the 28th of February, you should use the hours between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the nighttime. Everything else will be somehow doomed, I guess, a little bit. Also, people who are ruled by whether the Sun, which is ascendant Leo in Sidereal, Virgo in Western, or if you are ruled by Mercury, which is Gemini and Virgo in Sidereal, or Cancer and Libra in Western, or whether if you are ruled by the Sun, which means Leo rising in Sidereal, but Virgo in Western. So all those people, which is literally like half of the world, can face greater trouble and problems that way because of the Saturnian sign and Saturn being involved. But of course, Saturn and the Sun and Mercury, they are giving much spiritual tests and work in this moment about one's limits, one's fears, about his true purpose, about his true spiritual understanding and self, about the way of thinking in one's life. So this will be actually a very important moment for anybody, and there will be still people who will be able to benefit from this. But I guess those are the other signs. Initially, in long term, the very signs that are involved that I mentioned. And so this is definitely a moment when things also in the world politics can go down a little bit, like promises and deals probably will be not followed and will be broken in this moment. Also, I can say important politicians can meet their ends and ruin in that time. Aquarius, by the way, is much related to, according to the ancients, to the lands of Arabia. And there are important events happening in this time. So we can say that this is happening in a big time for the rulers and people related to those lands. But of course, Aquarius is related to other countries like Brazil, for example. And Aquarius is also related, by the words of the ancients, to a big part of Russia and Ukraine. So all those countries will be affected by this conjunction. And to make a conclusion of the month, on the last day of the month, there will be a favorable moon position. The moon will be in Libra, but in good aspects with Mercury, Saturn, and the Sun. And in general, not harmed by bad aspects, mostly, on this specific day. So again, if you want to do something important, especially if it involves more harmony, balance, beauty, the qualities of Venus, or even if it is related to love, this is a better time. A little questionable. People need like more analysis about that, but it's a general advice. And so this is the information for the month, Lala.
It seems like it's the shortest month of the year, but it seems like a busy month with a lot of aspects.
It's very packed. It's very packed with events, yes, definitely. So the general feeling will be Saturnian, of course, because most of the planets are in the sign of Saturn. And then it means that the qualities of Saturn, like discipline and responsibility, are the most important to be followed throughout the month. As otherwise, the Saturnian signs and positions will bring big tests about how effective people are in different areas.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much, Trifon. for your insight, for taking time to connect with us and to lead us through the month day by day. And again, if anyone would like this incredible big discount from a reading with Trifon, I'm putting it now in the description below in the video. You can click there and you can connect with Trifon. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the month of like Saturnian energies and search for a meaning.
Bye-bye.
Bye.